Hi, this is Councilman Mike Williams. I want to take a minute to talk with you a little bit about the upcoming election, which will be this Tuesday, November 6th, 2012. We have some very important issues to decide upon. We are very special citizens within the Electoral College system. Ohio is in the catbird seat as it relates to determining who the who the President of the United States is going to be for the next 4 years. And it's extremely important that all of us participate in this process. Now I want to give you my recommendations for this upcoming election on some of the key races. First of all, I recommend the re-election of President Barack Obama. He has done a phenomenal job navigating us through one of the worst economic crises that we have ever seen. And frankly, here in Ohio, the bailout of the auto industry, which in many political campaigns and commercials and everything has been taken in a very negative way, the savings of many jobs was related to the bailout of the auto industry, particularly here in northeastern Ohio. Our economy, I hate to even think of what our economy would be like here locally and in this region if not for the steps that were taken to bolster the auto industry. And we see them. They have paid back the loans, and they are succeeding and competing with new products and new automobiles and new things that are out here. And people are at work, and more people are going back to work because of those steps. Clearly, we've taken a tremendous leap in terms of health care. And they coined the phrase Obamacare. Well, again, something that has been used in a negative sense, but I want to tell you, for many people, the changes that have taken place have been critical in terms of health services for those families, those children that are out there. And I'm just very proud of how our country has moved in the direction that we're moving in. We still have a long way to go, and we still have a lot of work to do. But I believe that President Barack Obama is the person to lead us for these next 4 years, and I'm encouraging you to support him. We have a very important Senate race here in Ohio. Sherrod Brown is running for re-election, and I highly recommend Senator Brown. He has done a tremendous job for many years in terms of looking out for middle-class families, working people, low-income people. He has been just a phenomenal leader in that area and deserves to be reelected. Frankly, the candidacy of Josh Mandel has been extremely negative to the point of where it's almost cartoonish in terms of what he is proffering and the kind of leadership that he is proffering. I have no question about his service to this nation, and I share in the pride that many people have in terms of that. But in terms of providing the kind of leadership we need in the United States Senate, it's extremely important that there be a Democratic majority in the Senate to move forward an agenda that will move America forward. So I am highly recommending the re-election of Sherrod Brown. We have some state issues, and I'm going to go over those relatively quickly. I have State Issue 1, which would create a constitutional convention. Not necessary, and I think it would create more problems than it would solve if we have one. I see no necessity, and I think we need to vote no on State Issue 1. State Issue 2 would create a body that would govern redistricting here in Ohio. And we have spent a lot of time dealing with redistricting, and frankly, neither party, neither Democrat nor Republican, has shown the kind of leadership that's needed in this area that looks out after the interests of the citizens. We just came through this process in which some serious gerrymandering took place. The classic example is the district that goes from Toledo all the way over to Cleveland, where it's only a precinct wide in certain places. What it has done is created a lot of districts that are either safe Republican districts or safe Democratic districts, and has diluted the ability of citizens in those areas to affect those representatives elected from those districts. It's part of the reason we have the gridlock we have in Washington, and it's part of the reason why we see the discourse that is taking place in Congress. We really need to move in a different direction, take it out of the hands of the political parties. A number of newspapers have come out against State Issue 2. I'm not saying it is the total solution, but it is definitely a move in the right direction. And I strongly encourage you and highly recommend that you support State Issue 2. Issue 3, which is a local charter amendment here in the city of Akron, needs to be soundly rejected. To say it frankly, this is it's a regurgitation of an issue that you soundly rejected as a citizenry in 2006. And that is changing the ward council terms from 2 years to 4 years. Frankly, we want to retain the 2-year terms for the ward council people. They are the closest to the citizens in terms of representation. It's important that they remain accountable to citizens. And the way to do that, and one way to ensure that, is a 2-year term. If you get a bad one, well, you only have them for 2 years, and then you can replace that individual if they're not serving the needs of the citizens of Akron or the needs of the people in that ward. I have served both as a ward council person and as an at-large member. The at-large members here in Akron have 4-year terms. It's extremely important that those ward council people remain accountable to their residents in those 2-year terms. The second thing that will change is the election of the representatives on the council to where everybody would be elected at exactly the same time. There's a number of reasons why this isn't good. It can create a lot of instability in terms of Akron City Council. Plus, it eliminates a check and balance that exists there. Many of you know, and many of you supported me as I ran for mayor last year. I was able to retain my seat because of the staggered terms. The mayor's race comes up midterm of the ward council, the at-large council races. That will be eliminated with a passage of Issue 3. And I can tell you right now, a lot of this in Issue 3 is the personal political agenda of Don Pasquale and Marco Somerville. It needs to be rejected on that issue alone, because they are not looking out for the interests of the citizens of Akron. They're looking out for their own political interests. My race last year, and having the ability of at-large members to run is a check and balance on the mayor's seat. Already, we have seen the results of my race last year. I didn't win, but I have fundamentally changed how Don Pasquale deals with people. I fundamentally changed how Don Pasquale, the issues that he's taking up. And if you look at my plan for last year, you see many of the elements of that plan being implemented by this administration right now. So it works, and there's no reason for it to be thrown out. Now, the other little carrot they're throwing out is that this is going to save some money. The Akron Beacon Journal editorial board, who has been very pro-Pasquale, very pro-Somerville, came out and is encouraging residents and citizens to vote no on Issue 3. They see it as a bad piece of legislation. Now, when the Beacon Journal doesn't agree with something that is being put forward by Don Pasquale and Marco Somerville, then it really tells you how bad it is. So this whole thing of saving money, they basically say in their editorial that the savings is nominal, but what you're giving up is the right to the checks and balances of the current system of government, as well as the accountability of the ward council people. So I'm encouraging you to vote no, strongly encouraging you to vote no on issue 3. The election is this coming Tuesday. I voted today. I was extremely proud of what I saw down at the Board of Elections. Lots of people there, young, old, black, white, other races. It was one of the most beautiful things I've seen. I had to stand in line. It was great. And I'm encouraging you to vote early. And if you don't vote early, I'm definitely encouraging you to vote on Tuesday, November 6th. We have to make some decisions here as to where we're going. And it's extremely important that we all of us who are registered to vote, that we participate in this process. We are going to have to live with the results of this election. I certainly want to know that the majority of registered voters came out and participated and made the decision, as opposed to a minority of individuals making the decision. So I encourage you to vote. I encourage you to participate. I encourage you to take others to the polls. If you have your absentee ballots, make sure your absentee ballots get in with it on time. And I took my sons. I visited him in Atlanta this past weekend. He's away at school. I brought his absentee ballot back with me and took it to the Board of Elections. That's how important voting has been in my family. My father set the standard for what we are supposed to do as a family, and that we should participate in the process and help make the decisions that will move our country and our nation and our city forward. Thank you so very much for your time. I appreciate, and I thank you in advance for your participation in this process, and the election is coming Tuesday. Thank you and take care.